Hey beauties and bows, welcome back to my channel. I'm Jennifer of Custom Chic, and if you're new, welcome. Thank you for stopping by. This channel focuses on fashion, travel, and just overall lifestyle. Today's video is going to be about lifestyle. How most of us are now probably working from home. I'm going to share some tips with you guys very quickly as to how I feel I have been able to successfully work from home. So we're going to roll this intro and then get right to the video. Let's get to it. Back. Today I actually have you guys in my home office. I know typically we do things downstairs, we're in my studio, or I'm taking you with me as I'm gallivanting somewhere around Central Florida, trying on clothes or doing something silly. But amidst this whole coronavirus working from home thing, I wanted to share with you guys a couple of tips. So first of all, I want to say I'm grateful to have a job, because there's a lot of people who have been affected by this in like less than 2 weeks. There's a lot of people who don't have work. So while we still have that opportunity, I wanted to share some tips with you guys about how I think I have been successful in working from home and making sure that my production levels are what they need to be, so that if and when it comes time to cut more workforce, I'm not one of those people. So I have a couple of tips, right? So the first one is to wake up every day. To the extent that you can, right? To the extent that you have control over that. Wake up every day at the same time that you would if you were commuting to work. I typically have telephonic hearings or court calls around 8:30 in the morning. So if I had those, depending on what city that I have to be in or what courthouse I have to visit, that kind of depends on what time I have to wake up. But if I'm just waking up in the morning and I'm strolling into the office, either locally or in my home, that's typically 9 o'clock, right? So I typically wake up, or my alarm goes off around, I don't know, between 7:15 and 7:23. And I know it's gonna happen every single day, and every time it happens, I'm just like, golly, again, right? So like, we start the whole rigmarole. But wake up at the same time every day. Do your normal routine, right? Do your hygiene, your dental health care, take a shower, put on some clothes. Right now I have on, yes, a Custom Chic shirt. Drop something in the description box if you would like to order these. They could be available. And then just some regular Nike leggings. If I had a virtual conference or maybe like a WebEx or something, obviously I would look a little bit more presentable. But because this is a working from home video, I want it to be as authentic as possible. So yeah, you wake up in the morning, usually around the same time as you would as if you were going to the office, because I think that time is really important. You would be surprised at how many decisions you make before you leave the house, right? Like if you have children, what are they gonna wear? What are you gonna give them for lunch if that's one of the concerns? What are you gonna do with your husband or significant other? Or what are you gonna wear to work? What are you gonna eat? Do you have enough ingredients to cook dinner tonight? Are you meeting your girlfriends for happy hour? Do you have a continuing legal education course to go to? Not now, because we're in coronavirus, but we're in self-quarantine rather. But you make so many decisions, right? So during your commute, you're processing all of those things. So by the time you get to the office, you're tired. You ever wonder why you're tired when you get to the office? Like, you're like, but I just got here. Well, yeah, you've been working since the minute you got up. Your mind has been going. Please, please know that that is still true for when you work from home, because when it's go time, your companies or your organizations expect the same amount, if not more, levels of production when you're home. I mean, granted, you may have some IT issues, some connectivity issues, but besides that, they are expecting you to shell out a whole bunch of work. So like I said, if and when it comes time to make a decision about who was the most productive working from home, or if that's going to be an option that they offer in the future permanently, this is the time to work. This is the time to make sure that you are part of that conversation if and when that conversation happens about working from home. But let's go back to that first point. Wake up at the same time every day, get yourself prepared so that you are able to process the day and begin the day at full capacity, right? You don't have the stresses of commuting, but you still have made a bunch of decisions. And then if you take a shower, you put on some clothes, you just feel renewed, you feel refreshed, you feel rejuvenated. It kind of solidifies that you are tackling a new day, right? So that's why I would say get up at the same time as you would if you were commuting to work. Take a shower, do your normal routine, fix your lunches if you need to, and just do that. So that is the first tip. Wake up to the extent that you can at the same time every day. Tip number 2, dos, le numéro 2. I'm speaking in all those 3 languages because coronavirus is affecting everybody, okay? Just everybody. Have a regimented schedule. If you work for a company or an organization that has you in conference calls all day long, this part is not for you. Your schedule is already regimented and your schedule is already done. As for me and myself, I have pretty much a lot of leeway. Like right now, courthouses are closing right now, or they have very limited access as to who they allow in. So a lot of the stuff we're doing is paperwork, right? We're doing discovery, we're drafting complaints, all of that fancy lawyer talk. We're doing a whole bunch of paperwork. I have a queue that I can follow every day, but I also have other things that I need to follow up on, right? That will allow me to either move a file faster or respond to opposing counsel or whatever it is. So I write things down in my planner. You guys know I love this thing. I write down my vacation stuff in here, my personal stuff in here, my YouTube ideas in here. Like, if you want to know what I had going on, this is it. It helps me a lot. I would lose my head if it wasn't attached to my body. And I don't know how many of you know this, but sometimes I'm very easily distracted. So my planner helps me stay on schedule. If you want to do, let's say you want to check your emails between 9 and 10, well, block that off, right? If you don't want to be bothered by coworkers during a certain time period because you want to focus on a particular project, go into your Outlook or whatever communication device your company uses. Block that time off. Like if you guys have instant messaging, you know, say that to people like, hey, I'm open from such and such time, or I'm not open. You're available, because if you're working from home, you should be open. But that you're available, you know, between a certain amount of time. So work from your schedule, and make to-do lists. I am a to-do list queen because it just makes me feel so accomplished at the end of the day. And for the things that I don't accomplish today, I kind of write a new list before the end of the business day for the following day, just to see what I have to get done and to just make sure that I'm keeping myself on track. So you can do this electronically, or you can do this, you know, pen to paper, old school. I like to write things down because I like that better. I like to cross things off. It just makes me feel more accomplished. So if it's easier for you to write this stuff down either on your phone or through your Outlook, so it can give you reminders, that's perfect. If you rather see it on paper, that works just the same too. So that is tip number 2. We talked about getting dressed, so that was kind of tip number 3. So I guess we're on tip number 4 now, because the first one was wake up on time to the extent that you can. Tip number 2 was have a regimented schedule, right? So that you are following what you need to get done. Make sure that production is at its peak while you are working from home. Get dressed, okay? Take a shower. Number 4 is importante because you don't want to work in your bed. Number 4 is, if you haven't guessed it by now, pick or create a designated workspace. I am fortunate enough that I can separate my living space from my workspace when I work from home. So it's easier to do those things, but some people, you may not be able to do that. And if you can't do that, just create a workspace that will allow you to focus and function like at optimal levels. Your workspace should not be the couch, unless it has to be. I'm sitting on a couch. I'm, again, fortunate enough to have a couch in my home office. But I kind of use this for when I'm reading something and I don't want to I print stuff out and I don't want to read the computer. I've been reading the computer and the screen for too long and my eyes are just going a little blurry. So I kind of take this as like a debrief space where I can just sit down and read or write down some ideas or maybe some case strategy that I have for a hearing or a trial, whatever. But get a designated workspace. That will help you tremendously. Because then you're focused. You know that this area is dedicated to you working, and you can kind of separate that, right? Because you're already working from home. If the space wasn't designed for that before, now it feels like work is intruding on home, right? So when 5:01 or whatever time you log out comes, making that transition mentally, it's going to be a little bit harder because you're going to look over and then see your laptop and think, oh, I forgot to email Linda back. You don't want that. So to the extent where you can take either your laptop or whatever it is and hide it either underneath, I don't know, not your pillow, because you don't want to do that, but maybe you put it in a cabinet somewhere, maybe you put it in somewhere safe, on top of your closet so that you don't see it in your non-working hours. That's still the ability to separate your work life from your personal life. Once we walk out the door in our physical buildings, it's so easy to do. Like, whenever you punch out or whatever it is, and you leave, you get in your car, you're gone. You are not thinking about work for the most part. But if you have to work from home and your work materials are right there in front of you and you're watching TV at night, or you're watching Ellen during the day because you didn't separate your workspace from your personal space, you're not going to be able to focus. I have a TV up here. I never turn it on. I never turn it on because, like I said, I'd be watching Ellen, I'd be watching Judge Judy, Judge Emilion, that's the People's Court. I'd be watching the ticket court one. There's another show about tickets. The View, The Real. I probably switch back and forth between The View and The Real because they both come on at 10 o'clock. So, right, why do I know all this in the workday? Because I have had experiences where I just wasn't focused and I did not designate a separate workspace for myself, and it didn't fare well. So make sure you can designate a workspace to the extent that you can. Now, if you're not able to do that, and obviously you can't work at Starbucks or what's the other one? I don't drink coffee, that's why this is so hard. Panera, Starbucks or Panera. Just try to get to, even if it's your patio, use earbuds if you're working from home and you have other people in your home as well. I know some people are working from home and then their spouse is also working from home. So, right, you can start competing a little bit because somebody's got a conference call over here, somebody's got a conference call over there. So just designate a little area, you know, put on a candle, a faux flower. I have this, well, I used to have real flowers, but I've taken this with me probably for the last 3 offices. But it's my lilacs. They're not real, but every once in a while I'll, you know, throw some lavender oil in there so it can smell like something, and I just create an ambiance, right? So that I'm not wanting one to escape this place because you have to be here for the next 8 hours until further notice. So create a space that is not only going to be apart from your personal life, but create a space that is going to be welcoming and is going to be an escape from you. It is going to be an escape for you between the 9 to 5 hours, and that you can also escape from at the end of the day. So all right, recap. 1, wake up at the same time every day, take a shower, create a regimented schedule if one has not already been afforded to you by your job, get dressed, have a designated workspace, and then most importante, lunch and breakfast and breaks. That's number 5 if you weren't able to count that. Eat somewhere other than your desk because you want to give yourself a break. I do not eat at my desk. I go downstairs and I eat, and maybe during that hour I'm personally checking my emails, I'm checking my Instagram, I'm checking out my YouTube to see if my Instagram followers coincide with my YouTube subscribers, which, what's up guys? That's a whole nother video. But yeah, eat separately from where you work, because if you eat where you work, you're going to feel the same drags of like being in the office. Like, I don't eat while I work. At least I try not to, unless it's a super important project. But no, you could probably snack, But I would eat somewhere differently just to break up the monotony in that day, and so that you can also feel like you have your 1 hour lunch break, or your 15-minute breaks, or whatever it is, however many breaks that you take. Keep your bottled water with you. I tend to realize that I drink a lot more water when I am sitting down at my desk at home and in the office than if I am driving around. That's probably because I don't have as much opportunities to use the restroom while I'm driving around. But keep what you need with you. Take it with you in the mornings. So if you like to snack, you know, by 11 o'clock you like to have a Fig Newton bar. Don't ask me why that was my snack of choice. I don't even remember the last time I had a Fig Newton bar. I don't even know that I like them. But anyway, if you know that's what you like to do at 11 o'clock, bring it upstairs with you. So that way you're not inclined or tempted to keep going back downstairs, going to check on the baby, going to check whatever it is. Just try to be as regimented and as disciplined as you would be if you were in your office, so that you knock this day down. And honestly, I feel like the day goes by a lot faster when I'm working from home, because I'm just like in the trenches, right? I'm just going through it. So yeah, hopefully this was helpful for you guys. Let me know if you have any other tips that I didn't mention that I can probably utilize in my work from home life and space right now. But to go over them very quickly again, number one was wake up at the same time every day that you would if you were still commuting. Take a shower, get dressed, put something on, not your pajamas, because your brain is gonna think that it's time to go to sleep. And no, your eyes are gonna think it's time to go to sleep and relax, and your brain is gonna be like, no, we have to produce. So try to wear something other than pajamas. That doesn't mean that it has to be some kind of fancy robe, right? But just put on something other than your pajamas. Stick to and create a regimented schedule. If you need to time block some things, do that. What was number 4? Designated or dedicated workspace that is apart from your personal life. To the extent that you cannot do that, take your work materials away and put them up somewhere so that you're not seeing them after you've either logged off or decided that you were done for the day, because those are also 2 different things for another different video. But yeah, to the extent that you can, try to remove all your work items while you're not working. That way, one, they don't get destroyed. You don't have any issues with, you know, human resources department about what happened to the computer screen, all of those kind of things. But more importantly, that you're not meshing your 2 worlds together, because you wouldn't do that if you were physically in the office, right? And then last but not least, try to find somewhere to eat other than your workspace, your desk, so that you can break up the monotony of the day a little bit. And yeah, keep rocking it out. I don't know what's gonna happen with COVID-19, but I'm happy to share as long as you guys are happy to watch. So I appreciate you guys. If you stuck around this long, make sure you like, click the subscribe button, hit the bell notification so you know each time I drop a video, which is every Wednesday until now. And love you guys.